Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Astrology with your friend Gretchen Heidel, full-time astrologer, life coach, Reiki master, and so much more. I'm here tonight on April 1st, April Fool's Day. It's not a joke. 2024, and I'm going over This Week in Astrology from April 1st all the way until April 7th, but I'm going to touch a little bit on April 8th, which is the big eclipse that's coming our way. So welcome. If you're just joining me live tonight here on Facebook, go ahead and comment below your astrological sign. Where are you tuning in from? And if you know your sun, your moon, your rising sign, I love hearing that. And hopefully everybody is doing well. We just started just 2 hours before this broadcast started. Mercury retrograde began, and boy, oh boy, am I feeling it. Happy April 1st. Yay, Andrea, you're my first commenter. Happy Rabbit Day. I don't know if anybody knows that one, but a lot of people believe that if you say Happy Rabbit Day on the 1st of every month, it brings you good luck for the entire month. So happy Rabbit Day. Happy post-Easter Austera. We just went through all of that. Spring equinox, all that good stuff. A lot of energies happening. We have Mercury retrograde. We have Venus moving into Aries. We have all kinds of different things. It's interesting. We have a kind of what I would call a light astrological week as far as the amount of things happening, but the things that are happening have a lot of weight to them. So I wouldn't say that's very light. You know, the few things that we do have, it's not like one of those weeks where I'm like, and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and I'm saying something for every day. It's not like that, but the things that are happening are big things. And that's really what it's going to be like in all of April of 2024. There's a lot of big astrological stuff in April. April, quite honestly, could be one of the most important, prominent sort of months out of the year. As always, thank you for joining me on Monday night. This is the live broadcast on my Facebook page, Astrology Updates by Gretchen Heidel. I'm live every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Or I also co-record for YouTube and I post the replay there. And I love you guys for joining me on YouTube as well. So make sure that you also comment there. There's a lot of energy going on today. So I'm just going to dive into the deep end and get started. We started Mercury retrograde today. There's two big things actually happening today. First of all is Mercury retrograde, of course, which is the big, huge news that happened and started at 6:14 p.m. tonight. So 3:14 p.m. if you're out on the West Coast. It's already started. We're here. It is going to be in the astrological sign of Aries this time. And it is actually going to be in all of the fire signs this year in 2024. Remember, Mercury retrograde starts 3 weeks, 3 times a year. So it's something that, everybody's like, 3 weeks? Really? That's it? Because everybody feels like it's so much longer, but it's not. It's 3 weeks. Yes, it is longer if you count the pre-shadow, the post-shadow, all the shadow stuff. I don't count all of that because remember, that's like, it's just like we're in the zone of it. And I always just look at the shadow periods as the time when things started getting really glitchy. And it's like, oh, heads up, it's coming, and so we need to know that. So as I said, Mercury retrograde started 6:14 p.m. Eastern time today. And it's going to last all the way up until April 25th, 2024. You might want to write this down on your calendar. It's 8:54 a.m. Eastern time on the 25th is when it starts to turn direct. So remember that it's like when you go forward, it stops. It's like a car. And then you go backwards, it stops, and then it goes forward again. Now, retrogrades are not literally the planet stopping and starting. That's not what happens in the sky. It's an optical illusion. The ancients, when they would look at the sky, it would all of a sudden appear as if the planet was, kind of moving forward and backward, but it's an optical illusion, and that's what we call retrograde. And it is an astronomy term, but in astrology, we look at it as a time that the planet is weakened or debilitated, and certainly a time where we are going to go back and review and re-review things. So speaking of Mercury retrograde, I'm actually not going to spend too long on that tonight on the broadcast because I recorded an over, I think it's 90-minute broadcast, special broadcast over the weekend with not only Mercury retrograde, but all 12 forecasts of all 12 astrological signs. And true to Mercury retrograde, I can't get it loaded. I have been trying for over 24 hours now to get that sucker loaded onto YouTube, and I'm having a hard time. It kept like my video software kept kicking me out, and then my YouTube kept kicking me out, and all these things kept happening. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that, just because I'm an astrologer and I can name these things doesn't mean I'm immune from these things. These things happen to me too, and it's just what it is. I'm in Aries. Mercury retrograde right now is in Aries. It is starting out at 27 degrees Aries. It almost got to the end, right? And then now it's going backwards. So it was going to go all the way from 27 degrees all the way back to 15 degrees Aries. So if you know where that is, Aries is in your astrological chart, it's good to know that's how that will affect you on a personal level. So it's something that, to keep in mind. We don't want to start new things. Kelly was talking about negotiating a lease. Kelly Z asked an important question about, what if I have to do something like negotiating a lease or whatever? Personally, I wouldn't. I'm just saying I wouldn't. I've had clients that purchased cars or did something with cars during a Mercury retrograde. And I'll tell you what, those cars always ended up having glitches, especially with the electrical system of the car. I've seen it time and time and time again. It's really wonky, but I mean, of course, if it's under a lease and under a warranty, maybe you could get it fixed and all that. But it is a Mercury retrograde thing. Like, especially cars are literally, the vehicle is literally what Mercury rules over, which is transportation. So, but there is a point astrologically in this retrograde that is going to be like a PowerPoint type of thing in the middle of the retrograde. I always say this happens right in the middle, and it's when Mercury, again, appearing from Earth, seems like it's speeding up past the sun. And then when it goes retrograde, it starts to go backwards. It conjuncts the sun, and then it falls behind the sun. And that's when, at that point, it deepens and it, kind of goes into the heart of the retrograde. So that point during this retrograde is going to be on April 11th, and that's the point where the sun and Mercury going to conjunct each other at 7:03 p.m. Eastern time is the peak of it, but it'll be active that whole day and the day before and the day after. So like really April 10th to 12th, it'll be active. Mercury gets together with the sun. Holy la 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 la. That's the time where really things pick up. There's a lot of texting, talking, emailing, a lot of communication. So I always say, if you have to do something during the retrograde, like you have to, you can't get out of it, and you need to maybe negotiate, or maybe you need to put on a sales pitch at work, or maybe you just have to find a job because you're like, you can't even pay your electric bill. You got to find a job. Well, that's a power kind of time during the retrograde. It's when everything is really busy, because if you think about Mercury and the sun really plug into each other, and then you got solar power, you got like the sun, which is infusing us with confidence and all that kind of stuff. So that's a good time if you have to do something. Like I said, these are just guidelines, these are not hard rules, but if you have to do something, that's a really great time to do it around that time, because it's just gonna fire up Mercury, give us all the talking we need. It'll be really busy, and then you'll notice after that it's like, and then all of a sudden it's like, is my phone on? It's like a weird thing that happens usually after that. However, this time might be continuing to be busy, because this whole month is busy astrologically speaking, really. So when it comes to Mercury, you just don't want to do things that you have to repeat. If you know in your mind, like you're going to have to maybe go back to the drawing board or repeat something after the fact, you might not want to do it again. I always say, we talk a lot about people not starting new things during the Mercury retrograde, but also, I've seen people try to break up with people during Mercury retrograde, and then afterwards they get back together with them. or try to quit a job and then afterwards they get back together with that job, so it's kind of like whatever happens during Mercury retrograde seems to not stick. It always reverses when the retrograde is over, when it starts to go direct. So so if you are thinking, I always tell people, ask yourself this question if you're not really sure what to do, because I've heard people say all these things a lot of times, like, oh my God, well, what should I do? What should I do? Well, I'll just ask you one question. Do you want to repeat that thing, or do you want to revise that thing, or you want to revisit that thing eventually? Then yes, I've told this story before, but I'll say it again because I haven't talked about it in a while. But one year I had all my insurance policies kind of reevaluated, I guess. And it was like at the time that I had to renew, and I was like, oh geez, it's Mercury retrograde, whatever. But I'm like, oh, I'm having them reevaluated. So like, what could it hurt, right? Well, I ended up getting new homeowners insurance, and it was an entire year later, after the Mercury retrograde, it was all gone and everything. And I was like, oh, that was no problem. I was just I was revising it, so it should be fine. A whole year later, I got like all of a sudden all these nasty letters and blowing me up, and it's like, you're going to be fined. You don't have homeowners insurance. And I was like, what? Because I was paying on it. And here they never got, and I even thought, this was back in the days of faxing. I even faxed a copy, and then my insurance agent faxed a copy, because I'm like, it's Mercury retrograde. I'm going to double do this, because I'm going to just follow up and make sure. And here it still didn't go through, but I wasn't notified. Now, good news is, my insurance agent had the fax receipts. I had the fax receipts. Everybody had the receipts, and it was totally no problem. But I did have to go back and review and revise that even one more time. So see, I always say, if you don't want to like touch that thing again, and you really want it to have some permanence to it, don't do it during the Mercury retrograde. So that's kind of like a good way to think about it. So this includes surgeries. This includes going, on job interviews, going on first dates. If you can hold off and you don't want to, quitting a job, Claudio was talking about jobs, quitting a job. It's something that, you might not want to do, because it could come back around. You might end up finding yourself working there. Oh, but we really just need you for the holidays, or whatever it is. And then suddenly you end up back there. So it's okay. It's kind of like I always think about it like a boomerang. It's like, what are you throwing it? It's like, it's coming back towards us, What happened to all those boomerangs in cartoons when I was growing up? Ashley Ann, oh no, you wanted to start. Yes, your audio book and release it. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily do that during Mercury retrograde if you can. But again, I gave you a power day that you could potentially do, and that would be April 10th through April 12th. So you have to use your discretion. It's not my paycheck, it's your paycheck. That's why I give you guys, you can't say I haven't warned you, because I haven't given you guys lots and lots and lots of it's coming. We're in the pre-shadow. It's coming. Oh yes, Wendy. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, Wendy. If you have heart tests, you just got to do that. That's something, I don't know if then I would have an invasive procedure, but again, if you have to do it, you have to do it. I mean, these are, again, not hard rules. These are guidelines. And especially with medical stuff, I mean, you can't mess around with that. But personally, when I know that I have things that it's like I need to get done medically, but they're not urgent 911 things, I will put them off. But heart things, I always say is urgent. You should always take care of that. So, getting your windshield replaced. Well, if you need your windshield, these things are big things, you have an interview you have an interview during the retrograde, but you applied to it before. Okay. Oh, wait, you already worked in that district? So if you want to talk about sort of a workaround, there's two kind of exceptions, right, to the rule, is that because it's retrograde, RE, we're returning, we're repeating, we're reevaluating, we're revisiting, right? So think of the RE sort of guideline. If you've already been there and you're getting, you're going back, that's okay, you know, because you're revisiting something. So if it's something you've already done before, now this is why I always say exes can come back. This is a time where ex loves, ex boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever, can come back into our life. But is it a good time to get back together with them? Actually, yes. It's not a good time to get together with a new person. But if you've already been there, done that, then this is that exception, is that you're going back towards something that you've already done before. And so that's the exception to the rule. Though I always say if an ex contacts you, you might want to ask them a few questions like, hey, have you changed? You know, what has changed here? Because otherwise you could be in for repeating the same sort of life lesson. You might not want to do that. But yeah, Ashley Jean said you applied the same position 8 years ago. Oh, that's interesting. So that's like throwback whatever for your job. So that's good. This is all going to be in Aries. So of course, Aries, you're going to feel this. Libra, you're going to be feeling it extra, almost like as if it's like a Mercury, a full moon for you. I mean, this is like going to be very oppositional for Libras. Anybody have Libra in their chart? Libra and Mercury especially, this could be, you know, kind of crunchy because there's so many planets right now in Aries. There's just so many planets there. So let's see. I'm gonna have to see if I can remember. There's the sun, there's Chiron, there's the north node of the moon. There is Mercury now that's retrograde in Aries. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing one. Chiron, yeah. And then we have Venus this week, and that's something I'm going to talk about tonight on the broadcast. Is Venus is moving into Aries as well. So we're gonna have 5 planets in Aries at one time, and so that's a lot of Aries energy. So if you're a Libra, you're feeling that through the opposition. You know, all that Aries, it could be a little irritating to you, and you'll be feeling that. Now, of course, Libra, this is your half birthday. This is that time of year when it's your half birthday. So anytime it's our half birthday, and it's the opposite sign, okay, it means that it's a time when it's crunchy and you might be a little, you know, out of sorts, a little grumpy. Things might not be going quite, you know, how you sort of want them to go. Things might not be going quite that way. I did a big long video, if and when, I should say, when it uploads to YouTube. It's a YouTube exclusive, so you have to subscribe to my channel to get it. Now, the other big thing is also happening tonight, and that is going to be after the broadcast is over, that we're going to have the 4th quarter lunar cycle, the last quarter moon, okay, which happens right before we get into the new moon time. So the last quarter moon is the time of basically we're continuing what happened during the last full moon. The last full moon was in Libra. Poor Libra is getting picked on right now, I think. March 25th was the last full moon. This is what I call the second chance full moon, is tonight. And the peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it is going to be in Capricorn. Okay, any Capricorns out there? And it's going to be tonight at 11:15 p.m. Eastern time. So earlier than that if you're out on the West Coast, or in between, somewhere plus or minus wherever you live. I like to give the Eastern time for, you know, like New York City time zone. If you're watching, I know there's a lot of people watching even from other countries. So that is something that you can just adjust for. But last quarter moons, it's also called the 4th quarter moon, is all about continuing what we did during that last full moon. So full moons are endings, completions, wrapping it up, completing something, finishing something. And now we're still continuing to wrap things up, to complete something, to continue with something. And that's what we're doing, you know, during this time. This is really the deepening of that full moon work. And again, if you go back to the analogy of the farmer has to clear the fields, all the sticks and the twigs and the debris and the junk that blows in when there's a storm or something has to get cleared before we can plant those new seeds. Now, I'm going to talk about just touching on that new moon solar eclipse that is coming next week, which is the big, huge kahuna, big deal. And if you live anywhere in New England, you are going to be affected by that, because everybody is going to be affected by it, but especially if you're in the pathway of the eclipse, it's like very potent, very powerful. Hey, Rosalie, thank you so much. First stars of the evening. Oop, there you go. 50 stars. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. If you guys want to give stars to the broadcast as a little way of donating, a little tip or whatever financially, and that's a wonderful thing. When it comes to this new moon solar eclipse, here's the caveat and the catch with this eclipse. Yes, it's a new moon. It is a new moon on steroids. It is a total solar eclipse, in case you haven't heard. It's going to be taking place at 19 degrees Aries, so wherever it is in your astrological chart. Now, here's the thing. New moons are new beginnings. Aries moons, in general, are new beginnings. So an Aries new moon is usually the most potent, powerful, wonderful new moon to manifest during the entire whole year, because it's a new on new on new on new on new. So it's like, wow, that's really great. But, and that's the caveat, it is a solar eclipse. And solar eclipse energies in general are really wonky. And so it is not usually advised to do magic or to do intention setting or doing, and I'm just telling you kind of what the guideline is. You can do you, boo. If you want to set your intentions, you can totally do that. You could also wait until the second chance new moon. Okay, so instead of waiting on the actual new moon itself, which is on Monday, April 8th, Kelly Z, yes, we are in the path of totality as far as New England goes. Oh shoot, I didn't bring my map with me tonight, but I'm gonna actually do an entirely dedicated broadcast to just that, just the solar eclipse, because it's gonna happen before I see you guys next Monday. So I want to make sure that you get all the skinny on what's going on. I'm gonna do that after I upload these other two videos with Mercury retrograde and also tonight's, and then I'm gonna record another video specifically for that new moon. So again, you gotta subscribe to my YouTube channel to get that, because that'll be a YouTube exclusive. Hey, Andrea, welcome. Ooh, I love that. 111 stars. I love that. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing and awesome. It's so funny because Ashley Ann, I want to clarify. I'm so glad you said that, what you said on your comment, because I want to clarify this. So you said, I will be in my hometown just outside the edge of the eclipse. We're all going to be in the eclipse. We're all going to be. It's just like I was saying to somebody today, the difference between being where you are, Ashley Ann, and being where it's like, are you seeing the 99.99% eclipse? Or are you seeing the 99.12% eclipse? You're in the eclipse. Yeah, so Wendy, that's a good question. So when a person's born near the total eclipse, like let's say their birthday is April 7th, April 8th, April 9th, well, that eclipse is going to be in their astrological chart for a full year. Okay, so everybody has is going to have this eclipse affect them. It's going to be in Aries. It's going to be 19 degrees Aries. We all have Aries in our chart, every single one of us. Now, some of us don't have planets in Aries and some do. I'm one of them. I have a lot of planets in Aries. So it just depends on if it's going to be up on anything, if it's hitting your rising sign, or if it's hitting your, whatever moon sign, or your natal Mercury, like myself. And so whatever it might be, it's going to be right up on, in your chart, but it's affecting everybody. Aries and Libras are going to be crunchy in the heart of this. This is like Aries and Libra will be feeling it the most. Also, if you're a Leo or if you're Sagittarius, because it's all fire, these are all fire sign, these eclipses, so you'll be getting the fire sign. And then on top of that, it's going to be, let's see, all the cardinal signs. So if you are a Cancer or if you're a Capricorn, you will be feeling this too. And so what is an eclipse? I mean, it is a rebooting of a computer, right? So when the planet cuts off the planet, for a moment, and then it kind of reboots it and comes back on. So this is change. So for everybody, we will feel this for at least 6 months until October 17th, coming up in October, we'll have the eclipse will be active for 6 months. But if you had your birthday around that time, if that's your birthday, then you could be having this eclipse in your chart almost a full year because it's going to be affecting you because it'll be in your birthday chart. Okay. Everybody has their own birthday chart. It's called a solar return chart. And so everybody's got that, so that'll be a lot. It's going to be active. Yes. A lot of people are commenting here. Yes. Rita said a good point because she had, where she lives, in 2017, she had a total solar eclipse happen, and she was outside and she got to see the pathway and all that, and it was really exciting. And she said, make sure you wear a jacket because when you're in the full path, it gets cold. It's like nighttime, right? So like it cuts off the sun and it's like whoosh, so all these out-of-staters coming into New England, if they're coming from like Arizona or something, they're gonna be really cold. There's a lot of things going on with this eclipse, so I haven't gotten that far yet. I am going to touch on it tonight, but like I said, I'm going to do a full dedicated video, so you have to subscribe to my YouTube. All right, so getting back to this topic, because this is what kind of tickled on the eclipse talk, is this second chance full moon is going to be happening as a precursor. So it's going to be in Capricorn. The sun is in Aries. The moon is in Capricorn. That's happening tonight as we speak. Now, Aries and Capricorn can be quite dynamic, okay, together when they can sort of acknowledge each other, love each other, be authentic with each other. They can really be quite dynamic together. But the problem is that Aries can be a little self-focused, self-centered. Capricorn can be a little self-focused, self-centered. And they're both hashtag bosses, okay? So this is leadership here. If you've ever heard the expression, too many chefs in the kitchen, not enough cooks, it's because these two both kind of want to dominate. And so here we are. Again, the farmer is clearing the field because we're getting ready for that eclipse. We got to plant some good seeds during this thing, right? So what's going to happen is we need to kind of put down our swords, okay, and not, get crunchy with each other and get into any kind of power struggles or anything like that. And know that we need to keep releasing things, letting things go, getting rid of things, wrapping things up. Where's Cancer in your chart? Where's Aries in your chart? And you'll know how that will affect you. But basically that's happening tonight. Now, if you forgot to burn or destroy your new moon manifestation list on the last full moon, because that was on March 25th. If you forgot to do that, now is the time. Okay, you could do it after the broadcast is over. Again, it's the peak of it is 11:15 p.m. tonight. You can do it around that time or right now or, later on, whatever suits you best. But make sure that you do that because you want to release things, let things go. And especially when it comes to Capricorn, the moon is in Capricorn right now. When it comes to Capricorn, Capricorn is all about creating systems, creating foundations on things, certain business things, all that kind of stuff. And you might have to release something pertaining to that. Maybe you need to do business in a different way. Maybe you need to be the leader of your life in a different way. Because again, they're both hashtag bosses, maybe you need to be stepping into that leadership role in your life in some way, whether it's literally through work or with your children or with your, even with your animals. Maybe you need to be in a little bit more of an alpha role. And how do you do that? How do you take control, power, empowerment? Okay. How do you do that with all of that Capricorn? And that'll be a good thing to do. Nice. Oh boy, that's going to be like firing up your family. Katrina said her husband's a Leo. She has 2 sons that are Aries, daughter-in-law Libra. They're all the ones I mentioned. Yeah, you'll be feeling all of that. And so that'll be a big, huge thing. Now, moving on into the rest of the week, like I said, it's not like super busy, but there are some really important things. So the first thing that's going to be happening and is after tonight and Mercury retrograde starting and all that good stuff is going to be on Wednesday, April 3rd. And that is when Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, okay, she is in Pisces. She's right at the end of Pisces and she's forming a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces. So this This is at the very, very end of Pisces. Now, boy, that can be romantic. So here's the thing about all this energy, which is a little frustrating. I'm going to have a little bit of a hard time sort of explaining this to people, I think, because it's frustrating energy. Aries energy is about starting new things. We have 5 planets going to be in Aries during all this stuff. I mean, it's a lot of Aries. Like, let's start something new. Let's, like, you know, initiate. Let's get something rolling. But all this is about kind of waiting and not doing all that. Mercury retrograde is waiting, right? I just said it's not ideal to do magic during solar eclipses. That's kind of like we're going to wait for that second chance new moon to do that. You know, there's a lot of like kind of waiting here. And so this is sort of going to be setting up a weird dichotomy. So what I am advising people to do is get the download, get the epiphany, get the idea. I'm going to start this new thing on April 26th, you know, and kind of maybe do some background work, maybe do some research, maybe like get prepared to do that new thing. Like what kind of, Mercury retrograde, what it's great for is preparation. So like, what can you do to prepare yourself? So here we are, we have Venus forming a conjunction with Neptune, and that only happens once a year. It's in Pisces, and my goodness, this is so romantic. It's so romantic. It's just all the stuff that you can think of. It's the fantasy, it's the story, it's the illusion, it's the, you know, I don't know, wine and vegan cheese, I don't know, grapes or whatever. It's like this whole, wanting to have all of the romance and all of the stuff, because again, Venus is the goddess of love, beauty, sensuality. She loves to feel good. She likes to look good. She's a little expensive. Okay. She likes artwork. She likes, you know, has a lot of fine taste. And then Neptune wants to just go into whatever the illusion is, whatever the romance is, whatever the story is. Now, positively, Neptune can be serendipity. Neptune can be miracles. It's like can be a wonderful thing. And Neptune does have sort of a spiritual connection. So that's nice. Okay, all that sounds good, right? But Neptune's also lies, illusions, delusions, and can be foggy and fuzzy. It's like, you know, those solar eclipse glasses that we're all buying, you know, those crazy, they look like 3D glasses. Neptune is rose-colored glasses. So it's like, not only do we have our solar eclipse glasses on, now we got Neptune glasses on, the rose-colored glasses. I always say they're the nicest rose-colored glasses you'd ever see, like from Chanel or something, but they're still rose-colored glasses. Like, we're trying to look at whatever this romantic thing is with the cup half full, instead of, you know, the other way around. So it's okay to lean into the mystery and lean into the romance and lean into the story. And for sure, the best sort of way to kind of, you know, embrace this energy is to lean into maybe doing yoga, maybe doing stretching, maybe sampling different, you know, aromatherapies or perfumes or trying on new outfits. I mean, all that can be really delicious and fun stuff. I mean, all of that is like living a sensual life, you know, maybe indulging in a little decadent, you know, piece of cake or, you know, something that's like a little treat, you know, a fun little nice thing. That's a wonderful thing. But if it starts getting into, well, I met this new person on a dating app and they said they were the Prince of Arabia, and I can't even believe how lucky I am. It's like, oh boy. And then they asked me to start sending them money. Oh no, you know, I mean, like that's like the stuff that can happen during this. So remember, we are pausing our dating apps. We're going to pause our dating apps okay? No dating apps during Mercury retrograde. I'm sorry to say. You can turn those back on April 26th. So the peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it, in case you missed that, was Wednesday. This is going to be on April 3rd, 2023. The peak or the height of it is at 9:10 a.m. Eastern time. So are we feeling it now? Yeah, we're feeling it right now. We're going to feel it Tuesday. And then Wednesday is the peak. Like, you know what I always say with the mountain, you're climbing to the top of the mountain, and then Thursday, Friday, we're going down off of the mountain and it's starting to kind of dissipate, but it's not going to be gone. It'll be active almost this whole week, this Venus Neptune thing. So just use caution. Venus is also finances. So use caution with finances, and it's not a good time to sign contracts, definitely on that day. Contract signing is kind of a no-no anyway, right, with Mercury retrograde, but especially during this thing because it's illusions. It's foggy fuzzy. Neptune can be a little bit of a trickster, and Neptune is not retrograde. Neptune's direct, so that means that we're getting a full Neptune experience, which can be some shyster sort of activity. So we got to watch that. Now we get into Thursday on 4/4, April 4th, 2024. So there's a lot of fours in that, in numerology and that. And the sun is going to form a conjunction with the north node of the moon. Now, this is sort of the cool thing and the interesting thing, right? We got all these 5 planets. Once Venus gets there, we have 5 planets, okay, in Aries, and they're all kind of like interacting, like one's here, oh, we're gonna meet up here, now Venus is doing, now it's like they're all kind of shuffling around during this Aries time. So it's a lot of Aries energy, and like I said, we're gonna all be feeling that because it's starting something new. It's being the leader in our life. It's cutting edge. It's fighting for something, believing in something, really having to do some kind of push on something and finishing things and wrapping things up. It's a lot. So we have now the sun in Aries forming a conjunction with north node of the moon. The peak of it, the height of it, the pinnacle of it is 4/4 Thursday at 11:28 p.m. Eastern time. So again, that's the peak of it, but are we going to feel it behind the scenes? Yeah, we will. And again, this is aligning with our destiny. What are we meant to do here in this life? So we're going to have a ton, I think a lot of people in this whole month, because I'm just going to kind of do an overview a little bit of this month, are going to have life-changing things this month. This month is life-changing things, okay? All kinds of things are coming into play here. Remember, we just spent the first almost 4 months of this year, no planets were retrograde, and I was like, we are out there slaying dragons and setting things up. And now all of a sudden, like, all this stuff is going to start to come into play. And it just sucks because Mercury's retrograde during this whole time. So it's going to be a little bit of a frustrating energy, but I think we have to just go forward. I mean, do we pause it? Do we just sort of tap the brake a little bit? Yeah, to buy us some time, but I don't think we should stop anything. I think we are going to be, just having life-changing things, and I don't think we can stop the life-changing things. So when we talk about the sun forming a conjunction with the planet of our destiny, where are we meant to go forward in our life? What are we meant to do in this life? And we have the sun there, the solar power. We can't stop that. We can't stop. That's our destiny that we're messing with right there. I mean, we can't stop that. And so this is this week too. Remember that there's always some sort of karmic thing associated with the north node of the moon. Yes, it means that the sun is opposing the south node, which is a past life or something we did in the past, but it's aligning with the north node, which it's shining its light on it's like opening a portal into our life of what we're meant to do here in this life. So where is Aries in your chart? Again, it's important to know. I do, by the way, have 30 to 40 page natal birth chart reports that, if you want to see that and know what, where these things are. But that's basically what the deal is. The sun is shining on that north node. So we are really being asked to step into, our destiny here. So maybe we do all the steps behind the scenes to get us aligned. People feel like Mercury retrograde is like, you're just going to twiddle your thumbs the whole time. No. You're going to do work. You're going to research. You're going to plan. You're going to write out lists. You're going to do a vision board. You're going to, do whatever you got, like framework of a website, or, you're going to rough it all in. Okay. And then fire that puppy off, in a little bit. What we're doing. And like I said, the pinnacle of this thing is 4/4 on Thursday, this destiny, what are we supposed to do here in this lifetime? All of that is going on this whole week during all this stuff. So, I mean, it's very extremely, I can't even state enough how powerful of energy this is. And it's really, really helping us to align. So it's important to think about things. Where do you want to be in this life? What do you want to be doing? And no, you don't have to sail around the world and conquer, lands and slay dragons and all that stuff. Maybe what you want to do is have a family, or maybe what you want to do is write a book, or maybe what you want to do is start a new part-time job. It doesn't even have to be anything that's like such a big deal. It just has to be a big deal to you. I always say, what does your corner of the world look like? What's your in your game plan here? And so it's something that I think is really important and really special, and it's going to be this week. Oh, so much going on. Oh, thank you, Roz. Yay! 200 stars. I feel like that was a wimpy one here. There we go. That's my space clearing bell. I like to ring it when people, it kind of clears the energy. It's a beautiful bell. I love my bell. It is powerful. It's just something that's really powerful. But it's like sometimes we don't have to have it all figured out. Sometimes it's, I had a client one time that she came to me and she said, well, what's my destiny? What's my thing? And I said, well, it's to have a family. And she had a family, and everything around her was home and family. And yeah, she had North Node cancer. And so, and she had a family business. She worked from home. She had the kids were doing stuff at home. It was like, everything was like this big family thing. And she was like, oh, is that it? Like to her, she thought she had to, I don't know, have a PhD or be a doctor, or do some kind of thing. Like, to her, it didn't seem impactful and important, but in fact, it was extremely important, and it was important in her life. And like I say, sometimes when I say, oh, you have this blessing, like, let's say if you were a singer and then you came to me and I'm like, well, your blessing is your voice. And they'll be like, oh, really? Like it's not that special because it's something you're already doing really well. It's so interesting how that happens, how us humans kind of like go, can't be just that. I already do that, Yeah, no, that is what you're doing though. So it's important to remember to love ourselves, love our blessings. Not everybody can do the things that we do. And yeah, so it's a wonderful thing. Yes, thank you so much for wishing her congratulations. Kelly said North Node Capricorn 6th house. Yeah, so that's all about you being organized, doing your daily life. 6th house, it's interesting because I used to call that the boring house, and now I call it the most important house, I think, because it's habits, it's day-to-day life, it's service to others, it's can be the restaurant industry. I don't know if you know that, Kelly. It can be the Peace Corps, okay, and sort of service, as far as like being police officers or things like that, and it's that day-to-day life. So that's part of what you do, and you are really good at making it structured because that's state service. Yeah, exactly. You're really good at the structure of things. You're very good at setting up systems, keeping people organized, all that kind of stuff. You're very good at it. Yeah, supervisor. Yeah. Capricorns, are the bosses. Remember, you guys are part of the team of bosses. So that's a wonderful thing. So then we move into Friday, and that is on April 5th, 2024. And we have Venus moving into the sign of Aries. So like I said, 5 planets. So even though on Wednesday, Venus formed that conjunction with Neptune, that was in Pisces. Now Venus is moving past that and going into Aries. Now Pisces, again, is soft and romantic and all about the feelings and the feelings and the feelings and the feelings. And now this is a very different energy for Venus. Oh, thank you, Rosalie. Yay, 100 more stars. I appreciate all of your stars. You guys are amazing. So Venus is in Aries is very different, because if you think about Aries is ruled by Mars, the god of war. And so when we think about Mars is our action, our passion, our aggression, our anger, and all that stuff. But with Venus there, that's a little wonky, she's almost acting like kind of like a guy, archetypally, because Mars archetypally is male, Venus archetypally is female. She's soft, she's more gentle, she's more into sensuality instead of this passion and all the Mars stuff. So it's interesting when Venus is in Aries. When people have Venus in Aries in their astrological chart, they're always telling me that, especially when they're females and they're in heterosexual relationships, or even in lesbian relationships, they tend to wear the man's sort of pants. They kind of want to be in charge. They want to direct everything. They want to be the hunter, and they want to slay and, kind of be a little bit more. They like a challenge. Even when they're more feminine kind of qualities, they still like to have men that are a challenge, or women that are a challenge, that that put on the chase. They like to chase, they like to hunt, they like to conquest and all that kind of stuff. So Venus in Aries is actually not totally comfortable in that department. It is what it is. We can't do anything about that. But it's all about wanting to initiate, wanting to hunt, wanting to capture, and I'm not talking about hunting in a creepy way. I'm just talking about being more assertive and more aggressive, making the plans, making the reservations. I'll pick you up, all that kind of stuff. Venus is all about that. So even though she's the goddess of love and beauty and all that kind of thing, and she normally is much more softer and much more gentle in her approach to things, in Aries, she's not. She's a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more assertive. Now, and then again, here we are in the sign of let's do something, because Aries is let's do something, right? We're not supposed to really be doing anything, right? And it's so interesting because we have this Venus in Aries starting, and here we are, we want to go on the hunt, and then Mercury's retrograde. So there's a weird setup here. This is a weird energy because Aries is starting stuff, and then we're not really supposed to start things. So this is all about the conquest. So if you have Venus in Aries, you'll definitely be feeling this, or Venus in Libra, like I said, or all the cardinal signs that could fire us up and activate all the rest of the fire signs. So Cancers and Capricorns and Leos and Sagittarius and all those signs. Even the air signs could get a little boost, Gemini and Aquarius, just not Libra. Libra's getting challenged. Libra's the one that's kind of getting challenged a little bit. Now, somebody mentioned that their son was married to an Aries, and that person's a male, and Aries, the Libra is the female. That is actually kind of the rule. So opposite sex of the opposite sign tend to be very attracted to each other. And again, it can happen in gay and lesbian relationships too, if it's the opposite sign, but they have a harder time because they're not of the opposite sex, unless one is very feminine and one is very masculine. Okay, so that's kind of how it works best, is if you marry your opposite. So if you're an Aries and Libra, or a Leo and Aquarius, these different ones can be very oppositional sometimes. So you have to kind of use caution with the opposites. I'm going to plug my thing in here because I just realized that I was not plugged in. There we go. Okay, so somebody said, what house is Cancer? Cancer naturally rules over the 4th house of home and family. Everybody's chart, Cancer could be anywhere. It depends on your rising sign. So I hope that helps. Yeah, opposites are a little hard to kind of reconcile, but again, it works best if it's opposite sign of the opposite sex. That usually works better. But it is what it is. So it is almost like opposites here. Venus is the natural ruler of Libra and Taurus. Okay. And so now that Venus is in Aries, that's in its opposite side. It's not comfortable really in Aries. So we're going to be a little bit more dominant with this Venus. Okay. We're going to be a little bit more dominant. Now it's going to stay in the sign of Aries all the way from April 5th. All right, 2024. And by the way, this is going into midnight on April 5th, or on the West Coast, it'll be 9 p.m. on the West Coast on April 4th. And so that's when Venus is entering this sign, and it's going to stay in Aries all the way up until April 29th, and then it's going to go into Taurus. Now, the cool thing is it's super comfortable in Taurus. So it's almost like it's going from uncomfortable to super comfortable. Now, we will have a few days between April 25th and April 29th to start something new. And again, we can lay the groundwork during this time, as far as romance, as far as finances, as far as our artwork and those types of things. But it's not, we're only going to have really a few days of like 5 days of it before, after Mercury's done being retrograde, April 25th all the way to April 29th. We'll only have 5 days of Venus and Aries at that point, and then we can go out and do some conquesting, I guess. I don't know, but that's what it is. That's what the deal is with all this energy. Now, Venus again is going to be so active this week. So she's soft and beautiful in Pisces, aligning with Neptune on Wednesday. Then she moves into kind of harder edged Aries on Friday. And then the next day on Saturday, April 6th, she's going to form a sextile with Pluto. Psst, that's hot. Okay, 1:46 p.m. Eastern Time, April 6, 2024. She's going to form a sextile. Pluto's in Aquarius. And so when Venus and Aries and Pluto get aligned, watch that. Just watch that, because I always say, you might hear different things from different astrologers, and that's okay. I have a long time of experience. I've been doing astrology since I was 12 years old, and I just turned 53, okay? So I have a long time doing astrology. And I will tell you what's kind of even more important than it being sextile and trine and opposition. Yeah, they're good to look at for sure. I'm not saying throw that out, but you got to look at the players. And when Venus aligns with Pluto, Pluto's darker energy. Pluto can be jealousy, can be controlling, can be manipulation, and can be really intense and obsessive. So yes, even in Aquarius, Pluto can be intense and obsessive about, a love object, like especially if it's like unrequited love, or, you got a crush or something, you could be real up in there and get real intense. So we got to watch, our conversations on Friday and Saturday, because they could be a little bit spicy. Yes, this could be very sexy and it could be passionate, but if the other person's kind of being, I don't know, wishy-washy or doing hot cold behavior or something, this could start to get into being a little obsessive and a little compulsive with our love, and getting, our intensity could just ratchet up a bunch of notches. So yes, it's sexy, and yes, it's passionate, but it could also border on being too much energy, just a little bit too much. And then you don't want to come across as so dominant and so, like, you have to be with me. What's wrong with you? Nobody wants to be with anybody when they're talked to like that. So we have to kind of reel it back a little bit. So where it goes from being soft and nice, it's like, oh, little fuzzy bunny, to like the fuzzy bunny's like going over your jugular by Saturday. So we got to watch. Yes, it's a sextile. Sextiles generally are more positive, but still it's Pluto. We have to watch. Pluto, can be intense. Now, I'm just going to, like I said, I just sort of did briefly touch on that eclipse. I'm going to do a whole separate video for the eclipse, but just know that the eclipse is going to be coming on Monday before I see you next week, and it's going to be a super moon. So not only is it a new moon, it's a super moon, meaning it's closest to the earth. So it's going to be a big, huge new moon. It's a solar eclipse, total solar eclipse, and it's going to be 19 degrees Aries. The peak, the height of it is going to be, of the new moon, is 2:21 p.m. I have to look at the eclipse schedule to be able to tell you, and it varies obviously depending on what time zone you're in and stuff for the peak of it, but it's going to be, the peak of the new moon time is 2:21 p.m. So what we're interested in, yes, we're totally interested in astronomy, but we're also interested in that, what do we need to know? Because things could be very intense around this. And then also, the other thing that's happening during this eclipse is the sun is going to form a conjunction exactly almost at the same time, 2:28 p.m. So 2:21 p.m. and then 2:28 p.m., the sun is going to form a conjunction with Chiron. So really with this eclipse, it's going to be the sun, it's going to be the moon, it's going to be Chiron. Okay, so all three of these, okay, are going to be together. And this is going to be a huge thing about healing, coming together with, like I said, even our destiny. That's even an alignment there. The North Node of the moon is involved with this. At that time of the eclipse is 19 degrees, okay, in Aries. Well, Mercury is 25 degrees Aries at that time of the eclipse. So see, it's not just the sun and the moon. It's Chiron, it's Mercury, it's the North Node of the moon. They're all coming together. This is a very, very powerful, very special event. And yeah, we won't be able to see all that stuff necessarily with our little 3D glasses, but it is going to be really, really powerful. And so we're going to be healing something. We're going to be aligning with our destiny. And sometimes that means we have to let something go, because with eclipses, we're eclipsing something, right? So it's releasing something and letting go. It's a very tricky energy. There's new and old and new. I don't know. It's almost like when you have that old-fashioned thing when you plan for a wedding, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. It's like that kind of thing for this eclipse. Things are ending so that we can make room for new things. Sometimes you can't just keep shoveling new things into your life. You have to get rid of a couple things. Well, this is all going to be part of this eclipse. It's very, 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 super, very powerful. Yes, you're welcome, Kelly. You said, thank you for the heads up, the warning there. Is it okay for a new moon manifestation list? So I personally am not going to do magic during this time, magic or manifestations during the eclipse. It is not advised to do because eclipses are so powerful. Endings, beginnings, they're the wild card. Really, eclipses are so powerful and all kinds of things. It's better to just kind of be more chill. I know people are throwing parties and they're going to be woo woo, tailgating and doing all kinds of stuff. I just heard that major roadways in Vermont are being closed down. All kinds of things are happening, but actually you want to be chill. You want to kind of meditate. You want to pray. But I wouldn't personally, I'm not going to personally do, you guys got to do whatever is right for you. But it's too powerful in a way that things could go bad. So I just like to pray, for everybody's highest and truest best good. I mean, I think you can't go wrong with that. And I like to meditate, and I like to kind of, be at peace during eclipses, but I don't like to throw a whole bunch of extra stuff at an eclipse. Now, if you want to do a new moon manifestation list because you're like, I just need to do a new moon manifestation list, you can always wait until the second chance new moon, which is going to come on April 15th, and that's going to be the second quarter lunar cycle. That will be in Cancer, okay, and the sun will be in Aries, but that'll be another time that we could do a new moon manifestation, but I wouldn't do one during an eclipse. It's too powerful. It's too erratic. It's too much of a wild card. Things can go kind of crazy. So it's something that, I would kind of hold off on it personally. I am going to hold off on it. In fact, and this is a little tidbit that's not so much fun, but it is a thing where the pathway of the eclipse, wherever, tends to be more prone to natural disasters after the eclipses go through them. So Vermont's one of them, and other states, Texas, and there's all kinds of states involved with this. So, it's very powerful energy. I'm not messing with it. It's too much. I'm just going to appreciate it, enjoy it. Like I said, send out prayers and just kind of be grounded and just absorbing that energy. But I'm not going to be adding too much or participating too much in that way. Hey, thank you, Charlie. 90 stars. I really appreciate you. You're awesome. Okay, so I am going to do question time. What do you need to know? If anybody has a couple questions, I don't have time to do a lot of questions, but if because this broadcast ran over a little bit, but just to recap, we have Mercury retrograde started today. We also tonight at 11:15 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to have the second chance full moon. That's tonight. Then on Wednesday, we have Venus forming that lovely alignment with Neptune. Thursday, the sun is forming an alignment with our destiny. Friday, Venus moves into Aries. And then right after she moves into Aries, she connects with spicy Pluto. So Aries, Pluto, oh, what could go wrong? And then next Monday, we have that very, very, very powerful new moon, solar eclipse, all that kind of stuff. And it's powerful. Very powerful time. This whole month is going to be powerful. I almost feel like as if we, it's almost going to be hard to stay the same because so much change is coming. I think it's almost hard to stay the same during all this because we're being compelled and pushed and guided to change. This is what all this is change. All of it is change. All of it is change. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Katrina, pull a card. Aw, how to best express your love. Let me look at this. I'm being guided here to look at these. Look at these cards. I appreciate everybody that's on tonight. You guys are amazing. Thank you for, you might want to share, might want to tag a friend. And also make sure, like I said, to subscribe to YouTube because I'm hoping that this is still uploading after all this. All right, what do you need to know, Katrina, about your love for your son? Aw, okay, this is actually a nice card. Higher consciousness, Katrina. It's saying that it's like God consciousness, higher consciousness. It's your awareness of expressing your love. How can you go wrong with expressing love, It would be nice to know what his love language is. Yes, even for our children, it's good to know their love language. Do they like words of affirmation? Do they like gifts? Do they like physical touch? Do they like service to others? All those things. That would be a wonderful thing. But it's saying you're going to get downloaded with an idea. Like it's just going to be an epiphany. It's going to just come to you. And we're going to have a lot of those, by the way, this whole week is we're just going to just get downloaded with an idea, an epiphany, a thought, and so that's something that would be fun. But it's saying that if you listen to your higher power, whatever that may be, you'll be guided and you'll know what to do. It's gonna just come to you. It's gonna be like boop. It's gonna come in. All right, Charlie, should you move away from the town you live in? I don't think so. Saying no, not really. You feel maybe alone or lonely, but I'm not getting like, when I look at that as yes or no answer, I would look at that as like a no, but not a super hard no as far as moving away. It's just like you might be lonely if you do move away. That could also be possible. I'm not getting that you're supposed to necessarily move out of that area. Okay, should your brother move to Darcy Joe? Should your brother move? Hi, Darcy Joe. I haven't seen you in a long time. Should your brother move? Whoa, whoa. I feel like there's some weird energy around your brother, Darcy Joe. I don't know why. I don't want to say on the broadcast, but I just feel like there's kind of some weird energy around him. And maybe he's gotten himself into trouble or he's gotten into something that's not good. Or I don't know why, but I just feel like a weird energy around him. And I would say this could be something that you would think would be helpful and then it's not. Like, look at the moon here. The moon, this can be mental health, this can be addictions, this can be lying, this can, she's this little lady is trying to guide her boat by that little light. And then look, it's saying, trust your intuition. if you're kind of feeling no, it's probably like you might want to help. You know, you might want to help, and you might think that's going to be good, or like maybe rescuing or saving or something. I don't know why, but I just kind of feel like it's coming, the thing is coming from within him. So he has to, like, whether he lives in Kansas or whether he lives in, yeah, the energy of places for sure can be impactful to our energy. But the nexus of our energy is ourselves. And so will this fix all of his problems? No, I don't think it will. I'm sorry to say that. So I hope that helps. Yes, lots of love to you, Darcy Joe. I appreciate it. You have so many good ideas, Roz. Well, that's a great problem to have. You know, people often think that the worst is to have too little ideas, but sometimes it can be really difficult to have too many ideas. Marie Forleo talks about being a multi-passionate person. And so that's something that I love listening to her talking about that, because I might know a thing or two about that myself. You know, let's see. All right, Roz, I was pulling a card. I know you didn't ask me to pull a card, but I just pulled a card, media, for you. You can reach more people by working with video, audio, print, or online media. So this could be writing a book. This could be doing something with social media. This could be something with, you know, writing some kind of, you know, I don't know, like how-to manual, like, you know, whatever it is. But it's looking like you need to disseminate the information and get the information out there. I was just asking your angels, like, what would be good for you to work on. I hope that helps. Oh, nice. Shannon, got a new person in your life. Hopefully they came before 6:15 p.m. tonight. Because that was Mercury retrograde. Well, see, since the person's already there, that doesn't count with Mercury retrograde. Let's see. I'm looking at a different deck here. I have a little romance deck. Will they be around long term? Let's see. This was a little different. There's a lot of good attraction there for you guys. There's some good attraction. For Shannon, you attract romantic love. You're enjoying this moment fully. Oh, that's nice. Look, she's smelling the roses. She stopped to smell some roses. That's a good thing. I would say take it slow. I feel like this person's different from a lot of the people that you've gone with. I do feel like a softer, gentler energy. I just think you have to be honest with each other. I can't say if this is going to be a long-term or short-term, but I do feel like if you have a heart-to-heart conversation about your expectations, about what you want, I do feel like this person has been hurt before, maybe had a divorce or maybe had some kind of ex situation or something, and now their heart feels a little bit like guarded or something. But I also feel this person is very I just keep feeling gentle. I don't know. I just feel like gentleness around them, and they want to make you happy, which is, oh my God, that's what we need, right? Like someone to make us happy. And no, nobody can make you happy. It's a figure of speech, but I'm talking about inspiring happiness within our hearts. So your job, my dear, in this is to receive and to learn how to accept the love and the flowers and someone asking you out to dinner, like learning how to accept that. Sometimes when we find a romantic partner and we've been jaded ourselves and we've been kind of used and abused and whatever, it's hard to learn how to accept, believe it or not. And we're always like, you know, especially a lot of people will get into a cycle of just giving, but you know, you got to learn how to give and take. That's what creates flow. Otherwise it's just hemorrhaging all the energy in one direction. So learning how to accept love, learning how to, you know, if he wants to, you know, do these different things for you, you got to let him. I feel like he's a mow the lawn kind of person. I don't know. Like, I feel like he's going to help you fix the house or, you know, just do things for you. Like, I feel like this person's love language is service. And so this person feels like they're generous with their time. So that's a nice thing. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast tonight. Again, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to have a personalized astrological session, what is all this Mercury retrograde and solar eclipses and all the different things, and you want to know individually what is that going to mean for you, I can definitely do that. Tap into your astrological chart in the form of a session, and you can find out my details on GretchenHeidel.com. And yeah, this is exciting times. We are going through massive change. There's a lot of change, and Tauruses, you're next. There's a big thing coming on in Taurus as well. So there's going to be a lot of astrological energy this month. So stay grounded. Stay grounded. Remember, Rome was not built in a day. We have to stay grounded and just, work behind the scenes, one brick at a time, okay? And setting ourselves up for, yes, good future. Yes, Kelly, I'm going to do the group card. So what do we need to know before everybody hangs up? What do we need to know about all this wonderful energy? Thank you. Let's see. What do we need to know? Woo! It's so funny. This jumped into my hand. That's a perfect card for this. Breaking free. Break free. Look at her. Okay, break free. I was saying, a lot of this eclipse is going to definitely be pertaining to releasing something and letting something go. I'm going to pull a second card. What else do we need? What else do we need to know about all this? Yeah. Oh, good. Financial. So if anybody out there has been trying to manifest new financial things, this could have a financial flow to it as well. We might also be hearing about financial stuff on the news for sure. Hey, if you're a shop owner or a restaurateur or something in New England, you're going to be getting some money this weekend, with all the people coming up for the eclipse. But even so, if that's what you want to manifest, some more money, that could be good as well. And that cocould be something that, open your heart, open your wallet. Okay, remember, flow is not only about love, like I was saying. You have to sometimes practice receiving and practice accepting, but also it's financial and being able to accept the flow of money into your heart, into your life as well. Believe it or not, sometimes money is like that. It's like, no, I'll pay. No, I'll pay. No, I'll pay. And the person's like, no, I want to treat you. And you're like, no, I'll pay. That happens to a lot of us. I've done that to myself, but then you're kind of pushing away when someone wants to give you a form of currency or a form of a treat or, whatever. So it's always good to learn how to accept and give and receive. And then that way we can have good flow, not just financial flow, but good flow in our life, because things are leaving so that we can accept new things. There's a lot of new energy coming in, but we might have to give up some things to accept that new energy. I hope that helps. Give me a call if you want to have a session, and I will see you guys same time, same place next Monday after the eclipse is already over, unless if you're smart enough to check out my YouTube channel, because then there's going to be additional information all about those two big events coming up. All right. Lots of love, everybody. Namaste. Have a good night.